You started using VA loans to purchase property. You want to kind of give me the background on that?
Yeah. So civil engineer corps officer from the Navy, right? So we basically take care of the Navy bases. And when we're hanging out with all of people that are moving in, moving out of places like every 2 or 3 years, everybody's buying houses, right? But the thing is, they buy it with the old mentality. We talk about this a lot, right? You guys talk about it a lot. I'm going to buy a house, and then when I leave, I'm going to find a property manager. No, 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 no. Find a property manager that's running houses, and then buy a house from them, which is why I love JWB and the whole way that we do it. And so, long story short, my first house was at the very end of my career in Hawaii, my VA loan. So that's my first VA loan purchase. But a lot of my brothers and sisters, like that's it's the game. Get a house, and the minute you leave, rent it out.
Mhm.
But then 2 or 3 years later, all the beautiful stories start coming out of how that wasn't the best, right?
Tell me more about the story. What do you mean? Is it because people aren't finding good property management when they move?
Yeah. I mean, it's the shopping that happens when you're about to leave, right? So, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to a different station. I'm going from, let's say, Hawaii to San Diego. And I got my house and we've been living in it for 3 or 4 years. What are we going to do with it, honey? Let's rent it. Okay, perfect. Find a property manager. Look for the 3 or 4 that are in the area. Okay, got one. And then that doesn't go well. You get another one. And then it doesn't go. So that whole shopping experience of finding the right property managers, I mean, you're in this game, so you definitely know that it's real if you get a good one. And it's also real if you don't get a good one, because you start learning all these great 2 a.m. phone call lessons as a property owner. And so talking to a lot of my veteran brothers and sisters, they're still holding on to a couple of houses, but there's story upon story of, oh, I get another phone call or this happened or that happened. And it's like, and so when I learned the kind of the new way, right, just knowing that you can get it in one place and then buy from inventory within that circle,
Mhm.
it's just it's sexier.
If you're talking to someone from the military, Rafi, you've had some success with this. Any advice that you would give to a military family that's thinking about building wealth through real estate? Want to start us kind of like in your transition out of the military in Hawaii, how you set
Yeah.
yourself up to do?
Yeah. So going from place to place at the when you leave, you're like, oh man, I rented a house for 3 years. You're like, oh, I should have bought that one, right? Always hindsight at the end, right? So I had left the previous place and I jumped into Hawaii. I was like, okay, I had this thing that I said that I wanted to do last time. Was in San Diego for like 5 years. I rented the most beautiful house there. The landlord loved me. I was the guy that fixed the house while I was living in it, right? That kind of tenant, right? But at the end, he benefited a whole bunch for me, living there. It was great. So when I got to Hawaii, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and buy. At that point, it was just I want to go ahead and just buy because I learned my lesson. But then towards the end of my time, I was like, I get to learn what to do with this when I leave. Like I need to get some knowledge, right? So I went and got some, Fortune Builders knowledge. Spent a couple of years really learning like the systems and figuring out what it's all about. And then I was able to kind of basically flip my own house on the way out, which was really good. It was a really good learning opportunity. I knew how to bring in contractors. I knew how to negotiate, bring in private money, which is something that I just learned right during that process.
Mhm.
Because everybody's like, oh yeah, I gotta have a whole bunch of money to flip a house. Like, no, not really. You gotta have a network of people that are willing to fund you, and people are on the sidelines waiting. So yeah, I think towards the end I was like, I need to figure out what to do on the exit.
Mhm.
Because I've heard these stories of people exiting well. And so that's what I did. I did a little mini flip in the last 6 months. I kind of spent some time flipping my own house. And then we made a good bit of money at the end that allowed me to have that buffer after the military of like, man, you know what? You don't have to get the job right now. Like take a beat, And I did that. I did some training. I got some really cool leadership development training from a couple of different companies. I did some Tony Robbins stuff and kind of just, you know what? I want to figure out what other networks are out there besides the military network. And it took me a while to land somewhere, but I had the flexibility to land somewhere because I had the funding in my pocket. So that was everything. Because knowing that you have to have a job or choosing to have a job are two different things.
Yeah, I feel like for guys like you and I that got into real estate by the time that they were in their 40s, kind of thing, it's one of those great underreported benefits of real estate, right? We talk about it a lot on the show, right? Like the real estate retirement to me is a retirement of better options at the time that you really, really need better options, based on all the good things that you can do later in life. But even earlier on, when
Hmm.
you're involved in this stuff, you still have better options based on the fact of access to financing and capital, whether it's because of your network or because of the property and what you have, this increased cash flow, whether it's from your rentals or it's from something that you flipped and sold, right? Like it just kind of like allows you to tread water longer in an advantageous state, which is a really cool kind of like thing to see in your story as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
man.
not to get it confused, like it's a roller coaster, right? The life of a real estate investor. And in my mind, like I'm like, oh, I'm learning all this stuff. I'm gonna be freaking awesome in like 6 months. It's gonna be great. Lamborghinis and Ferraris, right? All that stuff, right? Your brain goes into all the beautiful things. But the roller coaster of like, hey, you're only a baby. You're 6 months old in this game, right? You're not even a teenager yet. So give yourself some grace and learn what you need to learn. And it wasn't until like the fourth or fifth year that I got my stride. Like I was in the water flaring around until like, oh, okay, passive income. Cool. I see that. Okay. I hope that anybody listening can just not get disencouraged, but know the reality that anything good takes a little bit of time, a little maturing. And so anybody that I talk to about like, oh, I want to be in real estate, it's like, cool, get excited, use that energy and understand the reality. And you do both, right? Energy plus the reality and go, you know? Real estate past, Big Island, built four
Yeah.
houses, one good, one bad, one neutral, one got
Love
rid
it.
of. That was easy. Two flips in Hawaii, one very successful, and then my personal home. So basically that's what four, three, same. I've actually never done this, so this is like kind of cool.
Cool.
So seven. The Airbnb in Dominican Republic I purchased with a bunch of different monies,
Mhm.
self-directed money, personal money, and 401k money. So that's a cool story all in itself.
Okay.
Just a dream to have a place on the beach in my home, right? My home country.
Yeah.
And the one that I'm currently right now, it's been about a year worth of a flip, 6,000 square feet, monster house. Uh, Beautiful right now and roller coaster all the way up until now. That's the overall and captured. And then in between, a lot of lending.
Hmm.
So I got a great network and I'm lending to a lot of investors that are doing flips.
Out of those, which ones do you currently own? You have the two JWB properties, like the house, the one that you're flipping. Do you still own any of the ones in Hawaii, or are these also flips that
No,
you've?
Hawaii's all done. Hawaii's been cleaned. I own the flip that I have now. I own two JW properties, both in Jacksonville, and I own my current home that I'm living in right now here in Indiana.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Asking for a friend here,
Yeah,
right? Like, share
yeah.
with me how you got your wife to like enroll and how it's going throughout all this stuff, because you started this as a much savvier real estate investor than me, and I imagine that the delta of like education is even higher of your buy-in and kind of like your
Well,
trust in what you're doing.
that's the fallacy, right? And so that's the fallacy that I ran
Mm,
into. I'm like, I'm hanging out with different people. I'm talking to real estate people, like they all understand me. Everybody's good. Like we're me and you are juking and jiving. We're riffing on some like interest rates and property management, 8% and all that. We're riffing, right? And like it feels good. But what happens when you walk home? My beautiful wife's an accountant. Her brain is very logical. And I'm over here, hey, here's what's going on. This is awesome. JWB and Greg and these guys and Fortune Builders. And she's like, show me the numbers and then we'll talk further. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're not excited with me? She's like, numbers excite me. Right. And so I kept bringing in the JWB partners, the people. Hey, Sam, give me 5 properties at work. Let's do some numbers live. Let's play around with some stuff. And we did that. And then she goes, oh, well, that makes sense. Why don't we do this earlier? I'm like, that's what I've been saying. And so we got to a point where she's like, all right, let's grab some of the cash that she had in an old 401k. We self-directed it. And then later on, I was like, hey, another opportunity just came up. Can we do it my way now and do a self-directed non-recourse loan? And she's like, let me see the numbers. Let me see the stuff. God didn't give me a cheerleader that says, yeah, honey, go do what you got to do. Because if he did, then I would already have bought 3 or 4 really terrible properties and been in trouble. She's my quality assurance of my crazy brain decisions.
You were telling me a little bit of kind of how these JWB investments have allowed you to kind of like put some wins on the board that
Dude, I'll hit
have
that
won you
ball.
some
I'll hit that
trust
little.
and got.
You're just giving me like this really slow moving softball that's like stuck in the air. Like I'm gonna hit it. Okay, so this is the perfect tee up, right? This is the thing that become the wins of our conversations. So if I'm having like I'm about to have a really bad, we didn't get any rentals for the month of whatever May in this Airbnb, right? It's never fun. The two JWB houses that we got free and clear. We just got an extension lease that just came in for 3 years. We increased the rent and they gave us, another incentive that's still going from our previous. So having more JWB houses, our plan is to get one every year. That's it, or more. One every year or more. It's a great foundation of like knowing that I don't have to worry about it. It's about as passive as I like to say that it is. Nothing is passive, but it's passive for me now.
Yeah.
I did the non-passive learning up until now, but for me right now, it's very passive. And I can actually officially say that with full confidence. It's officially passive. I get one email, one text, one phone call a month, and I'm golden. So love it. Love, love, love.
I love
Capital
it.
L.
Awesome. All right, man. I'm going to show how you've only been investing with JWB since 2025, but we're going to show how your portfolio has been performing so far
Cool.
for the community here who I know is very curious. So this is your story right now. This is not financial advice for anyone watching. Past results don't guarantee future successes. This is entertainment purposes. Do your own due diligence, right? That being said, Rafi started investing with JWB in March 2025, and then you bought your second one in October 2025. And because of that, Ravi, you've earned 42 profits so far, right? Home price appreciation is $15,960 in that short amount of time. Principal pay down, not a lot here since you've only had it for a little while. Net rental income is a pretty big one here, 24,651, and you've had estimated $1,342 in tax savings. Here's what is interesting, Rafi. We talk about the Pac-Man principle
Yeah.
of real estate investing and how home price appreciation usually makes up 60 to 80%, but on yours, it's at 37% of total profits because you've only had it for under a year. And the pack principle
Right.
takes,
Yeah.
takes a little bit of time to take over. So you have this big chunk of net rental income because as you shared, you have bought one free and clear, right, in your
Yeah.
retirement account, and then the other one is financed. So you have this like beautiful chunk of net rental income. And this is just a perfect opportunity to highlight the fact that real estate is not a one size fits all thing. It's important to work with a financial engineer that can help you kind of right size it for what you guys are doing. Rafi, if I'm right in your story, your wife wanted to derail the whole thing inside of her
Mm.
retirement account, buy it with cash, get that cash flow going. And now that you got that cash flow, you were able to introduce the concept of leverage and the concept of
Yeah.
buying it with a non-recourse loan. And now this is what your Pac-Man looks like. And over time, this chunk over here of home price appreciation will take over and become the Pac-Man itself. But for right now, you're enjoying a nice little bit of flow, man.
Good. I get to grab that one and give it to my wife.
I
I'm gonna
love it.
send her. I'm gonna send her the notes. She'll love it. She'll
Anything
love
I
it.
can do to help, my friend. Real quick, it's on
Yeah.
you having done the real estate thing on your own, flipping, uh, you know, done the Airbnb stuff, the experience of JWB as a true vertically integrated turnkey operator versus other parts of real estate, any kind of like insight you can give to the community on that.
The reality is, we buy their house and then they make their own circle around the property managers around their house. But the epicenter becomes their house, right? So now you have a house, you draw a circle, and you find anybody that's around here that's actually, your property manager. The cool thing I like doing is just flipping the script. Find the property management company, bigger hand, right? Find their circle and just pick one of the ones from their circle. You don't have to create the wheel. Just find one that's been doing it. And if you need to know how many, ask how many, 4,000, 5,000, whatever. Figure out how long they've been there. 10, 15, 20 years. Are they going anywhere? Probably not. Investing in Jacksonville over and over and over again, downtown and everything else, they ain't going nowhere, right? From my perspective. And so that's been the biggest shift is kind of the nucleus. Find the nucleus and then draw your circle and find your circle. So